emergency type calls, checking on the boats, things like that. Because that would artificially inflate next year's numbers, and we'll be showing numbers next year. So you can add about 40 calls to that total. If you want to know the full activity we did for last month. Also included third page Medicare rates. I think it's worth pointing out that our efforts with the federal level with Senator McConnell, we received a 4% increase in July on our fee schedule, and in January we received a 5% increase. So that's really an unprecedented increase twice in less than six or 7 months. That's going to help our Medicare return a little bit on the Medicare patients. We have we'll talk about equipment a little bit. I'll chip in on Brad too. We've got the box off of the old ambulance at Conway's, and we just got it sitting there. Conway's elected to help us take it off and see if it's feasible to remount, and that box is waiting for when we get waiting for us to make a decision. They see no problem with it going on Ford chassis.
We haven't got the grant money from the state yet. So.
No, and I did find out about that last week. The MOU was being held up to see if the Kentucky Board of EMS was going to have enough funds to get them through the fiscal year. Now that they taxes and everything, Judge will be receiving that MOU for a short assignment in back. But we've got the box there. It's off the truck. We can move the chassis down to the road department and see if they have any use for that down there, or surplus the chassis.
Anything else? That's it. Jail report, Dorcas.
Okay, today we have a total of 135 inmates. 5 of these are in Hardin County. We have 3 on home incarceration, and we have 9 serving weekends for an in-house total of 118. 23 of these are state inmates. For the month of January, on our controlled intake, we averaged 11 a day. On our Class Ds, we averaged 12 a day. On our Nelson County inmates, we averaged 118 a day, so that was a total daily average of 142.6 inmates. January's new arrivals, we had 182 males, 58 females. That was a total of 240 new inmates arrested. The releases, we had 173 males released, we had 57 females, so we had 230 inmates was released. We have the district court 22 sentenced inmates. We have 14 waiting for court. 2 are serving their time on work release. We have 5 district court inmates doing community service. We have 4 scheduled for release in February. On our state inmates, we have 13 controlled intake, 10 Class Ds. 6 of these are doing community service. We have 4 doing work release. In circuit court, we have 59 waiting for court. So that's a total of 73 inmates that have not been sentenced. That's in both district and circuit court.
Dorcas, our next court meeting, Mike, would you do this for us? Would you bring a list for the magistrates, the inmates, the top 20, 25 inmates that have the most time served without being sentenced or going to court? Sure. Just let them know what type of numbers you're looking at, how many years they've been in there, waiting for the trial. I appreciate it. Anything else, Dorcas?
That's all.
Update on the Bethlehem license agreement. I just put that on the agenda, Tim, so we let people know that we're still working on that project. You guys met at your last rec board meeting.
We haven't met since we've met those last year.
When's your next rec board meeting, I guess?
It's sometime in March. I was going to ask him, when I talked to you last week, I was going to call, ask her to move that up maybe so we can kind of get some dialogue on it. I haven't actually talked to her. I looked at the message at that point. I was going to remember it.
You remember what the big sticking points were, Tim? So other magistrates will know.
Well, there's, Little League group is put about scheduling of that field, part of it.
Mhm.
And they need, there's some other needs that they need in there, on their side, they need some batting cages. Of course, everybody's
What's that got
talking
to do with
about,
this lease sale? That's what I want to know.
They put a lot of money and time and effort in that particular field, and they feel like they're not gonna get as much use out of it with all their efforts.
Well, our initial conversation, I think Tim's here today, our initial conversation was that this field was gonna be underutilized by the rec board because the age group that these boys are at on this field are, the numbers are relatively small. Tim, you know how many people are in that group?
Well, no, I think they're small because we haven't had a field to play on
Mhm.
since I've been in Nelson County. Now that we have a field to play on, our numbers may grow.
Sure.
Now, well, certainly they'll grow, as a matter of fact. And our concern is that we're not gonna have an opportunity to grow now because there's gonna be very limited access to that field until
What-
after baseball season.
What time is the rec board, what time does the league, what month does the league start?
Our season this year, we expect to start, I believe it's Monday, April 13th. And we usually finish the season around the third week of June.
April 13th.
It overlaps pretty strong, but there's
Well,
about 2
that's
weeks
6
after.
weeks, that's 6 weeks. Initially, we were talking about 3 weeks. and,
It's real heavy overlapping there for about 5 or 6 weeks.
6 weeks, yeah.
Dean, you help me introduce him, he's our baseball.
Well, everybody
guess
knows
what?
Tim.
I only know he's a baseball
Tim
czar.
Hocker, Tim Hockersmith, he's, not only is in Nelson County,
But the baseball, what is the
CFO.
title?
What's that?
The chairman of the baseball group?
President of Little League.
President of the, there you go.
yeah,
I'll make sure everybody's aware of that.
yeah.
Because he's got all the information, he's been on top of it.
Uh,
My stance on it is I want to try to get this thing worked out, everybody get all the
Well,
clubs.
let's talk about it a little
Details.
bit now, though, because Tim is here, he is the president.
I think we need to come to a deadline, a timeframe where we make a decision.
Because, St. Joe's wanting to make a decision what they want to do. They have other options now. They have explored other options. And, Tim, Magistrate Hutchins and I met, believe it or not, we do talk and meet, and we do talk and work together. We aggravate each other a little bit in the process, but, we met, and, Tim asked me to wait till the first meeting in March to try to get something worked out with you guys on, trying to see, make sure there's, if it is incompatible on the time overlap, the 6-week overlapping. And, then we need to notify the St. Joe Parish through Bethlehem that they need to look at their second, option B. And then, that way we can move on and they can move on. Yeah, because it's not rocket science we're talking about here. It's either it works or it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, then that be said, it doesn't work. But if 6 weeks, Bethlehem wanted, basically they wanted it through May 31, and they could schedule their games would be a pre-schedule, and they were hoping that since they were committing $150,000 that nobody else was offering to pay, well, I thought it was very enticing, that the Little League Baseball group would schedule their games around their games. And of course, practice can take place a lot of different places, and, even practice can be worked out. But,
Well, they still practice out there a lot too also.
I think one thing that's maybe important to note, the lights that they are proposing to put out there, of course, that's a nice benefit to the field, but our program doesn't really need lights on that field. We'll play one game, and we played probably 20 games on that field last year.
last year you played out there?
Yeah, there were rec sanctioned 13 to 15-year-old, sanctioned through Little League that played out there. Yeah, there were a number of
I knew
games
the smaller fellows that played.
Yeah, but we did utilize that field last year. And for that age, you're right, because there's not been a field available to the community, for that age group, there's been limited numbers. But I think if a field is made available, you'll see those numbers grow. And that's why at our meeting, when we did get the opportunity to get together a couple of weeks ago, and Mr. Hutchins was there, I asked him, when you're getting your numbers on the lights for that field, could you at least get us a price on the field that the youth program really needs lights on? We don't really need lights on the big baseball field. Where we really need lights is on the field next to it.
Because of the numbers, it's a typical numbers game, really.
It's the same size field too.
Right, they don't use, if they had a tremendous amount of numbers, they would play later and have more, they would need the